Hello, Mestorians. What an exciting night of the Gilded Age we got last night. I was not expecting that surprise ending, seeing Miss Turner show up again, but we're going to talk about her a little bit on this video. This video is your fan theories. So when you all leave comments and they are predictions about what's coming up in the next episode or what's going to happen later in the season, I'm just going to be pulling some of those comments and making videos about what we think is going to happen. So keep in mind as I go through these that all of these comments came after we saw episode 1. These comments were in before episode 2 aired. So we'll see if we're getting them right, if we're on the right track, or if we are completely off bases. But before we get into it, if you don't mind, if you like content like this, especially if you like historical content that's a little bit messy, go ahead and hit that like button, please, and subscribe and share. That helps me so much if you share my content. Share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit. I don't know how to use Reddit just yet. Share it on Facebook, share it everywhere. That helps me out so much. Let's get right into these. So we've got a few about Jack. We've got one about the Scotts, we've got one about the Russells, and we've got one about Miss Turner, which I will save the best for last. So let's get into the Jack theories, and you all let me know what you think about all of these as you hear them in this video. And I'm calling out the names of the commenters, but I'm calling them out by the YouTube handles because that's what shows up for me. Like, your actual name isn't what shows up anymore, so I just gotta call it the way that it comes up. So first we've got That's Just My Baby Daddy with a Jack prediction. She says, I have a feeling Jack will represent the uniquely American experience of going from dirt poor to uber wealthy. He's about to break several hearts in the process. What do you all think about that? So we had some different thoughts of opinion. I said that I think that Bridget is going to get jealous of his relationship with Adelheid, which it looks like they might have something forming. And I did question as to whether or not he was bringing Adelheid around the Russell's lady's maid to make Bridget jealous. And this person is saying that he's going to break several hearts. So do you think that Jack is going to make some money and make a whole lot of women jealous? Let me know what you think about this prediction. Next up, we've got 7090AZ. Says, I just discovered your channel and I really enjoyed it. Well, first of all, I've got to pause and say that this person has extremely good taste because this is my favorite channel. But anyway, they go on to say, I don't think Jack is trying to make anyone jealous. I think he's moved on from Bridget and she will regret it later when he's making something of himself, which will be representative of another disruption to class order in America that happened after the Russell types. And they also went on to say, I also loved how this episode reminded me of the movie Easter Parade, which that is a movie that I have never seen. And I've seen a lot of you making references to Easter Parade after the first episode aired. And you all said, I guess it like the opening scene reminded you of Easter Parade. I have not checked that out yet. Tell me if you think I need to watch it. If you give it a thumbs up, let me know. If you say Ty is not worth your time and you give it a thumbs down, let me know that too. I'm not a big movie person, but if y'all say that it's great, I will try to check it out. And let me know what you all think about this comment. 7090 says that Jack isn't trying to make anyone jealous, but Bridget is going to feel bad about it. She's going to regret it after he moves on. Then we've got CJ Marchitello, or that could be Marchitello. I don't know if that's Spanish or maybe Italian. I don't know. We'll say Marchitello. Says, Jack can make it rich. He's got the smarts coupled with loads of charisma, and he has a good heart. So it'll be gratifying to see him make a future for himself. It says Adelaide, but I know that that's Adelheid. Adelheid perfectly mirrors Jack's good qualities. Hopefully they'll share good fortune together, which leaves poor Bridget, who's really not a bad person, out. But Bridget is young and has plenty of time to find her match. And, no less important, she has the good Mrs. Bauer looking after her. I like this comment. Tell me what you all think about it, though. I do think that Jack has a lot of charisma, and he does seem to have a decent heart. He does seem to have a good heart. And I never thought about it until I read her comment, but Adelheid is a go-getter also. She's ambitious because to take the leap from, I don't know if she was a scullery maid, but she was a maid of some sort, to take the leap that she did in the service order at the Russell's house was big for a servant at that time. Like if she's a lady's maid, that's almost as high as she can go in the ranks of being a female servant. And it seems that not only does she want to be Gladys's lady's maid, but it looks like she wants to be Mrs. Russell's lady's maid as well. Or does she want to be both of their ladies' maid, or does she want to move up and become Mrs. Russell's lady's maid and then have someone else fill in her shoes for Gladys? I don't really understand what's going on there, but she's got them. She had them both covered for Easter, so I don't know. We'll see. But that was a good observation because in that respect, she does mirror Jack's qualities. They both seem like they're ambitious people. And it would be interesting to have that storyline go on and be able to watch them both come up. I agree that that would be interesting. And I think that a lot of us are here just because we like Julian Fellowes, and maybe some of us wish that Downton Abbey never went off the air. So I'm going to make some Downton Abbey references, and I hope that you all don't mind. If you don't like it, just put it in the comment section and I'll leave it alone. But there are so many parallels that we see between this show and Downton Abbey, and one of them with the servants. I look at that relationship that Bridget has with Mrs. Bower as the same kind of relationship that Daisy had with Mrs. Patmore. Mrs. Patmore was mean to Daisy in the beginning, and Daisy was a lot more dizzy than Bridget is, but it does seem that they have that same kind of relationship where, you know, the head cook is looking out for the young maid. And then we've got Robin602 says, hello, Ty and fellow subscribers. I've just discovered this channel and I love it. Another person with very good taste. I have to throw that in there. She says, I'm a history nerd, so I love the ancillary info about past scandals. The Gilded Age has become a new favorite of mine, and I love the inclusion of Black society as a parallel. I don't think Jack is trying to make Bridget jealous. He seems honest and without guile. I think he also picked up that Bridget's reticence is not about him. She has trauma from which she may never recover. So let's stop there for a second. Again, another person saying that he's not trying to make Bridget jealous. So I guess the thought is that his feelings for Adelheid are real. And that seems to be what it is, but let me know what you all think about that. Let me know if you think that Bridget will ever be comfortable enough to tell Jack just what her problems were back home. Robin goes on to say, Peggy's loss is so heartbreaking. I don't think her parents will divorce, but Arthur has a lot to atone for, and Bertha will make him pay for his miscalculation. Now, I commented, Peggy's mom is Dorothy, and I'm sure that that's what Robin meant. But wouldn't it be crazy if Bertha did step in? If Bertha Russell stepped in to make Peggy's daddy get his life in order? No. I hope that her parents don't divorce, and this would be good. Yeah, I do agree that he does have a lot to atone for. Let me know what you think is going to happen with Peggy's parents, with the Scotts. Robin went on to say, I hope Marian does not run into Thomas again, but it may be inevitable. Now, I personally would love for Thomas Frakes to have to run into Marian, and I would hope that it would happen when she's just moseying along the street with her dearest, sweetest Aunt Agnes, and that Aunt Agnes would be able to tell him a thing or two, and that she knew all along that he was no good. And maybe even, that's all. I was going to say that I hope that she would be able to tell his wife something too, but she didn't have anything to do with it, so we'll leave his new wife out of it. And Robin went on to say that she loves the costumes and the sets for this season. They're exquisite. I agree. Then Adrian Sean says, Gould is about to get the Russells in trouble. Wasn't he a scammer that tried to destroy unions and workers asking for an 8-hour day? And yeah, Gould was that cutthroat businessman. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I mean, but we know that George has already got that same spirit in him. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to see George Russell fall. I would hate to see that, but we'll keep watching. And Adrian went on to say, and yes, I think we all know at this point, Thais' character is giving Consuelo Vanderbilt, which must mean at some point Bertha and her husband will file for divorce because he cheats on her. And Bertha will use that wedding to get back into society. So do you all think that Bertha Russell is going to get the full-on Alva Vanderbilt treatment? Is she going to follow her entire life's story? I just don't think that Julianne Fellows is going to be that predictable. I mean, clearly she's got some Alva Vanderbilt in her, but we can't have her exist and have the same life as Alva Vanderbilt in a story where the Vanderbilts are being brought up and in a time where they did exist. I don't know. I hope that it doesn't go completely that way, but let me know what you think about that. I hope that Julianne Fellows does something different for us. And finally, looks like Miss Yanni Travels 5861 says, I hope that Miss Turner will become Mr. Russell's new secretary. Now, I'm thinking, though, that she might mean his new stenographer, because recall, his secretary is that man who he's always talking to at his office, but the stenographer is the lady who got fired because she was in on the deal with the guy who was stealing money from the company that ultimately led to that train wreck that killed, I believe, 5 people, is what they said. And I don't know that he's refilled that position of the stenographer. So we've already seen episode 2, so we'll get into that on the episode 2 review. So I'm going to say I already thought that this comment was a stretch even before having seen episode 2. But oh my gosh, can you imagine if she were his stenographer or secretary? She'd be talking about making her desk a temple for his greatness. Yeah, I feel like they should have dealt with Mrs. Turner, though, the same way that he did deal with the stenographer, so that she didn't pop up like she did in episode 2. Remember what he did to the stenographer? He said that he would basically have like private investigators follow her to be sure that she never applied for any job beyond the most menial position anywhere where she tried to work, so she would basically be scrubbing floors for the rest of her life. That's the treatment that he should have given Mrs. Turner before she left. But he didn't, and now we've seen her on episode 2, which we'll get into on an episode 2 review. I'm going to get you a fashions video from episode 1. That'll be the next video that I do, and then I'll start reviewing episode 2. And please forgive me. I'm still not feeling the greatest. I'm still under the weather. My voice is not there yet, but I'm working on getting it back. I had a big, piping hot cup of tea before I got on to do this review. I threw some lemon in there. I'm trying to get it together. I do want to bring you another story about real life people or events or places from the Gilded Age, and those will be the videos that I come on camera for once I'm feeling better. But thanks for sticking with me for this video, and if you want your predictions used in a video like this, then just leave a comment. If you're giving me a prediction, I might pick out your comment and put it in one of our fan theories video. I am loving reviewing this show with you. I'm so glad that our show is back. I'm already sad because we only have 6 weeks left, so let's enjoy this while we've got it. See you on the next video. This video has been brought to you by me. Well, my Patreon is a sponsor for this video. If you like these dirty scandals on my channel, then you'll love my Patreon, Ty's Too Hot Hot Mess History. It has all of the stuff that I can't talk about or show here because it's just too hot, too violent, too sexual, too graphic, too much. Come and join us there for the hot Hot Mess History. The link is in the description box.